Oh, dude, look at you! Look at you! Is that a swag cup? That's a swag cup.
It's on brand, baby. On
Been
brand.
closed for 2 years and I'm still drinking out of the plastic cup.
No. I have your cup sitting in a box, waiting to get sent to you, with a bucket of jerky too.
That is really nice. That is really nice. Welcome to the Mid-Geek crisis.
Doesn't anyone else wants that? Yeah.
If they didn't see it,
they're gonna be like, "We want it." Well, I mean, hell, if they want demand for it, I mean, I'll drum up some demand.
There's demand for the mugs.
I'll draw demand for the mugs. All six people.
All 6 people. And my mom.
And your mom. And your mom. Let's go. Let's rock this. Let's kick it off right. Mm-hmm. Watermelon.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Red, yellow.
You can tell who worked in theater because they know that stuff, right?
Leather, yellow leather. Welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis, episode 121. I am Joe, the Afro Man, and my partner in crime here,
Pedro, cautious online. What's up, Rolls?
Names again. Yes. Get it right.
We're getting there.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Another fixed the day zero bug. No, they haven't fixed that yet. They have not fixed the We'll get to that. Good segue, Justin. Thank you for bringing that up.
Let's just jump into it. Why segue, right?
Why segue? There's no segue. They haven't. So Sony.
Which one's the day zero bug? Is this when they closed the store and then reopened it? Is that the bug? What's the bug? What's up, Burgundy? Thanks for jumping on.
This is a man. You know, I've been hearing nothing but like, oh, good job, Sony. Good job, Sony. That's like remember that Chris Rock skit where Chris Rock is like,
are you gonna do the cookie skit? Really?
No. Well, he talks about how like he's like, well, I've never been in jail. It's like, you're supposed to not go to jail. She's like, oh, he takes care of his kids. You're supposed to take care of your kids.
Right,
it's like, you know, it's like, oh, we didn't close the store down. You're not supposed to close the store down. Like, if
there's one thing capitalism does, though, is close down stores.
Look,
Joe. Come on.
And I've been hearing a lot of left and right from multiple YouTubers and tech analysts and whatnot. But one thing that I really haven't heard anyone really just Chris with the Miko crickets.
Number one fan, man. Number one fan.
One thing I haven't heard from any of the pundits talk about is the fact that these companies started selling us digital games with the promise that we own the game, but then they don't allow us to have the game forever. Like, here we are. What is this? Is this the first or second generation or third generation of like online marketplace of consoles? So if we're gonna go with Sony, we're gonna have PS3, PS4, PS5. Xbox was, I mean, technically Xbox, the original Xbox, you could buy some with the original Live, but 360, One, and now Series One. You buying a game meant you buy it.
Thanks for jumping on, Dan.
For this particular ecosystem, and it's yours. And the fact that they're gonna just close these store downs means that you're just like, you don't get to keep your like.
We've had this talk. It seems so philosophical to me. Nothing is forever, and to expect anything to be forever is to be disappointed. So, I think from my perspective, stores close. Right, enjoy it while you can. I understand the concept of it should always be available forever, but I just don't see it ever happening.
And I agree with you, but this is like this would be like I guess there's hard to make an analogy on this because it's such a weird. There is none, but I guess the closest thing you can do is like let's say dealerships, right? You know, you've got Toyota dealerships. There's 50 Toyota.
Then the whole battery issue.
Yeah. Right. I mean, here's the scenario. Well, Toyota. You go buy a Toyota. Okay. You buy this model for a Toyota, and they go, you know what? We are going to give you oil changes, at this set price at all of our dealerships.
Yep.
And let's say someone comes
Thanks
in
for
and
jumping on
buys Toyota. You know, they buy Toyota. Usually, with litigation and all that kind of stuff, when someone buys one company, they kind of take over a lot of those like warranty, the like maintenance. Hey, we're going to maintain your device. We're going to maintain your car because we now own that. We own the property to that.
Right.
And on this is Sony closing Sony down and saying we can't sell you something that we own. But by the way, go and buy new games on our store.
The important part is profitably.
Yes.
Right, that's the important part, right? And you know, I don't ever want to see this stuff. This is art, right? Games are art. And I think that's one of the things I forget, right? These are not just commodities. But you know, again, like I'm glad they reopened the store. Good for you, Sony. I hope everyone.
Good for you. Yes.
I hope everyone that ripped their shirts open and tore out their hair and pirated video games will go out and buy games, right?
Well, I think they saw a huge spike. That people were frantic. They were online. I mean, I could see people were making videos. Best 20 games to buy now. I mean, every YouTuber and content creator was out there making content.
That was the hot. It
was like, here are the 15 games. Here are the 20 hidden gems. You know, go buy these now before you can't get them. And honestly, I mean, they were rightfully so. Those were good games and good things to kind of point out there. But what happened is over the past 2 weeks, I'm sure the marketplace, everyone saw like a big spike in purchases, and they were like, people want these games?
It's the classic Coke conspiracy theory where they close the store, but they open it again and they close it again. They going out of sale.
Well, what's that? Name the store going out of business.
Mm-hmm. There it goes. Name the Sony store going out of business. That's hilarious. So Chris, you've always been an evangelist for this, right? Digital downloads should be able to be backed up and played from an external system. You paid for it. I mean, arguably, you paid for the right to play it when it was available, right?
I think they should really say that.
They do.
They don't.
But there's no obligation that hardware will last forever.
Right. So and the turnaround would be right. But the turnaround would be that if I go into a Walmart or a GameStop or a Best Buy and I buy a game for $59.99 and I go into the digital store and I pay $59.99, which I shouldn't because there was no transportation, there was no gas, no manufacturing, there was nothing. But I mean, that argument is beaten to the ground. You pay both of them at the same price. This physical copy is going to last forever. I can pop it in my system whenever.
What do you do with your copy of Battleborn right now? I mean, what do you play?
Well, that was again. That's a digital service game, right?
Off the top of my head, easy example of a game that's no longer supported. You cannot play whether you have the hard version.
Right. Well, I mean, not all games are like that. Yep. And again,
server
we would know that.
Backups, IT engineer salary. Buying is dead. All that's left is renting. Get your subscription service, everybody. That is the world we live in. Soon we'll be.
I don't like that. I mean, I don't like it. I want to be able.
Water.
Sony should have just said, "Hey, by the way, we're closing." If they were going to close a store down, they should have just said, "By the way, go download your games now. The moment you download them, we're going to give you a way for you to manually back them up."
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know.
To you later, Joe. Come on.
I know. I understand this. I'm just speaking as in like, hey, if they want us to believe that we actually own these games,
you don't.
But they want us to believe that, right?
They want you to believe that for a second. Old catalog's valuable.
Yeah. Justin, that's Dan. That's Dan. He's watching us on Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Was that Dan? Yes, he's watching us on Twitch.
Dan, I wanted to go shovel back around here. You said, what about the Ultraviolet shutdown? So that's an interesting one. Ultraviolet was definitely their own storefront. You bought your movies through them. One of the nice things was that they allowed you to kind of transfer those movies over to other services. One of the big ones is the Movies Anywhere program, right? I think the studios realized that these small companies were going out of business. You know, the ones that are selling you the distributors, digital distributors are going out. So they created this one unified system, the Movies Anywhere. So when you buy a DVD that gives you a digital code, you input it into Movies Anywhere, and it ties that code into like all the stores that you might have. So what's nice is I buy a physical copy, a Blu-ray of a movie with a digital code. I put in the code, and it unlocks it at all of my storefronts. If I tied my Amazon, my Google, my iTunes, all of those are tied together. When I buy it, it shows up. What's also nice is it's cross-play. So if I buy a movie on Amazon, it shows up on my iTunes.
Sure, but if Movies Anywhere goes away, what happens?
Well, right. So if Movies Anywhere goes away, there's still one point that might go. We don't know. But
But if they
Ultraviolet went away and they passed their purchases on to someone else.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're hoping that if anything like that were to happen, maybe the purchases go to iTunes or they go to Amazon or they go to whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I get it.
I don't want to talk, but philosophically, right? We're living in a world where I think all of these rules of digital ownership and digital evolution, the sort of way things change as we subscribe to them, we're not fully come to grips with the fact that these things are different than these physical media, than anything, right? Think about like, I'm think about Facebook and the way it is today versus when we signed up for it.
Right.
12 years ago, right? Think about the Apple, right? Think of it was a phone that played music. That was its original pitch.
Well, I mean, yeah, even before that, it was just a music player.
And now, before that was like, would I at all have invested in an Apple if I knew what it was today? Would I have signed up for Facebook if I knew what it did today? Right.
Right.
If they pitched the services they had then today, it'd be a different thing, right? We're sort of just riding along with it and just seeing how it all winds up.
See how it all winds up, and I agree with you. I think that my point with my biggest caveat with this is with that, if I'm going to run with that example,
Podcast still exists, but not the pod. We still use the floppy disk icon to save our games.
yeah.
And there's no more.
I mean, the fact that we call podcasts, but the iPod isn't even sold anymore. I think they still sell the iPod Touch. I think that one's still sold, but it's their own pods. So it's funny that you mentioned that you bring up the Apple concept because you're right. We didn't know where things were going until we got there. Like that's an obvious thing.
We don't even know what's happening while we're in the car.
But here's an example of a unified storefront is the App Store or even the Google Play Store. I mean, yes, these are two mammoth companies, right? And they're obviously still selling phones. All the apps I've bought since day one on my iPhone, I can download them as long as the developer has kept up with the update.
I have many a board game that's no longer kept up. They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. The digital ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea is the purchase at that point. I can't blame Apple for it not going away. I'm blaming the developer for not keeping up with the new hardware. If I wanted to play it, I could get it. I could connect with an old device and play it. But that's the thing. So right, it's a turnaround. But that's the same thing now with Sony. If I want to play my old PS3 games, I can't play them on anything else but my PS3.
Because Sony wants you to get rid of your PS3 and buy a 5, Joe.
I know they do, but you can't. Yeah. But that's the thing.
All you retro gamers, just stop. You're killing companies.
Yeah.
You're hurting these corporations.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just want to sell you new stuff.
Sony, a protected company in Japan, I'm actually saying that. It cannot be purchased by an outside entity, by the way. If you didn't know that, you always see people saying, oh man, what if Microsoft bought Sony? They can't. Sony is actually a legacy protected Japanese company. No outside owner. Period. They must be Japanese to own them.
Sounds like socialism.
Oh.
And which of you bought high-end game systems last year? I did. Well, I mean, I guess I bought the mini. Does it count as high-end?
Yes, it does. It does. Yes, it does. The Series S is a new gen.
Series S, I bought
for sure.
Yes, Dan, I jumped on the bandwagon. And yeah, Pergamon, you're right. I mean, we could talk about this for days. Our copyright didn't keep up with protecting customer interest.
It did not. It did not.
It's the Wild West and has been the Wild West for so long now. I wonder if we'll ever not be the Wild West.
My problem is, and again, I'm gonna give this course one last kick, is that Sony sold us a system that has the ability to connect to the internet and get firmware updates. So when they give us the excuse that, oh, our storefront can't handle this or whatever, that's lazy. You have the means to update. You have the means to move the content over and push an update.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not like they don't have a machine sitting there with they're like, let's add this real quick, or let's tie it into our new system, and someone just writes it. You pay one employee to create this project and just do it. Just do it.
This is the Agile system, baby. It's dire on the list. It just they never get to it, right?
Yeah,
There's like a million other tasks they need to get to.
So again, I reemphasize: quit selling me internet-connected devices with digital libraries when you don't let me keep that digital library as long as I keep the device.
So how long do they keep it? Should you be able to pass that device on to your children or your children's to your children's children?
Yeah.
As long as there's an internet, you think digital products should be around
If
forever.
Sony is still around, if Sony goes away, the company Sony goes away, then it should be gone. I can understand.
Devil's bargain you just made. As
I'm just saying, if Sony
companies
disappears
rename all the time.
Right,
Connect it to the international clock. Well, let's connect it to the international clock.
So again, let's come back around here. So they fixed that. They're like, oh, we're not closing it. We saw the errors are away.
That's a ship of Theseus argument about a multinational organization, right? If one company goes away, which one goes away, Joe? Right?
Yeah, I know. Yes,
I'm already I'll just rename to Sony O. Sony 2.
Well,
Sony
I mean, honestly, Sony has been around since I think it's like the 1800s. I think is what is we're looking at 1870. They're a pretty old company. I mean, if they wanted to rename themselves all to get away from a couple video games, then so be it. It was meant to be. But I digress. They have fixed one problem, but have created a whole barrel of worms with another one. One more thing that was left, a wound open that was not fixed, was that Sony, and again, if you remember when the PS4 came out, one of the big like jabs in the way they kind of won the initial war against the Xbox, where everyone was a 360 player. 360 was winning. 360 won that previous generation. They sold more content. They had a bigger install base. They won it because as soon as Xbox started announcing that, oh, digital DRM, and you're gonna have to like go online and like, you know, it has to phone home to, you know, play your content. But it was supposed to be this Wild West, this new way of like technology where you buy a game and you can lend a digital game. I mean, some of those features actually sound kind of cool now. Yep. Now that we've kind of been conditioned in this digital way. But Sony was like, no, and they even made a funny like skit where they're like, how do you share games or how do you install a game? And they showed it. They opened up a box and they popped in the game and they were like, oh, you know, and then they or how do you transfer a game? And they handed the box off to another employee and they were like, yay, you know, really kicking it.
Now it's like 48 minutes and special tools to touch your hard drive, right?
Right. Well, but here's the downside. What they didn't tell you is that as the firmware updates progressed with the PlayStation and the games progressed, it meant that they actually were tying those games to your account and the trophy system, which means that what they have found out is if your battery, your BIOS battery inside the system goes dead, okay, and you plug it in and it resets your clock, if it has no internet connectivity, you cannot play your physical games. Period. Okay. You pop in the disc with no internet access and it installs, it will say, it'll give you an error code and you cannot play the physical game. Even if you have the physical game and you pop it and you just want to play the game that's on the disc, it cannot be played.
So this is where we cue Dewey, right? The future is now.
Right. So basically, they have to fix that. Yeah. They have to fix the CMOS.
Well, they're working on it. Top man.
Well, I mean, this is a bad one because this is for their actual like PlayStation 4 system.
The future is now, old man. And thank you, Vagabond, for being the first victim of our overzealous Streamlabs spammy caps tool.
We could love that thing.
They do like Pee Wee Herman.
God. Dude, I miss singular. Still can't spell singular correctly because of it.
We haven't seen Vagabond in a while. Thanks for jumping.
Yeah, hey, Vagabond, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back.
Vagabond, no cap, sir.
No cap. We love you.
Literally, it has one job, and that is getting rid of people who use all caps.
That's all it is, and it doesn't even get rid of it. It just yells at them, and I'm like, I didn't even know it did that. I love it. Achievement unlocked. Good one, sir. Absolutely.
This is sorry, Pergamy. This is like watching someone from the '90s panic about what the future would look like to someone from the 20-bit. Bro, that's just how it is.
Yeah. No, I get it. I know how it is. I mean, I get it. Like, I'm sure my kids have no concept of physical ownership. They just go and download a game. Glook, 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 glook. They go.
There's Chris. That battery issue is a nightmare. There's people that live in remote areas. They may not have internet or have. Yeah, I mean, I think if you buy hardware and you put, they should work. Right?
Yeah, right. That's the messed up part.
Work. I'm with you there. It's wild that they can get away with that now. Oh, look at this! Not gonna lie, I want to. Well, look at that. Oh, the store opens next week. Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week. I'll have a link for you to be able to purchase this. There, you can actually win. So there you go, right there. If you wanted one, you can. I'll get a link going for you guys.
And if you send pictures of yourself drinking out of those mugs, I will give you Joe's password to his Plex account.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mid-Geek sellouts. Vagabond, what game are you working on now? Why don't you just pimp that out on our chat right here? Let us know what you're working on. Vagabond's a game dev. He's done some games out there, some fun ones. He should let us know. Joe, let's trade Flex accounts.
Yar. Yeah, no, the Sony thing has just been a barrel of like interesting. It was like, I will say Sony is like the last company that I expected them to kind of turn around ship. They're just one of those companies that are just they're very committee run Japanese mindset where they're like they're correct and everyone else is wrong, and the decision we've made at the very beginning is what we're going to stick to. Yeah. So it was very interesting for them to kind of turn ship and go, you know what? Wait a minute.
It was more like pump the brakes, right? They
were
like,
yeah. Well, and what's best about it is when you read the upon further reflection, however, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here.
I know. That's big words.
Those are big words to hear from a corporation like Sony. I mean, usually they would say, we're gonna go ahead and push back the closure. No, but they were just like, no, we were wrong.
Wrong move. Sorry, everybody.
Wrong move. Sorry, everybody. My bad.
Transitioning to right moves, Vagabond, way to go. Just shipped Always Sometimes Monsters on Nintendo Switch. That's a fun game. Actually, Switch might be a great place to play that as well. So, way to go, Vagabond, putting that out
thanks,
there.
Vagabond.
And also working on the stonks market, which, all right, I can get behind that. Right on time, very topical, Vagabond. Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Woo!
Congrats to everyone. If you've done something, put it out there.
Yes. Reading between the lines, oops, we fucked up. We love you, cough money. Your money, yeah. I mean, they saw people just.
They probably paid enough to get an IT person to update it, the firmware, right? They justified it long enough.
Yeah, I mean, they're still closing down the PSP store, which is understandable. But the turnaround time would be that, hey, if you want to buy a PSP game, buy a Vita, or go to the PS3. Log in your PS3, you can buy the game and then you can download it from the store. Like it's the idea is you're not going to be able to marketplace through the PSP, but you can still buy a PSP game by going through the Vita or way. I had an iPod test and it was powered down every time it would boot up and the clock would resync and then the playback every notification received. I took over an hour hard to get through. Oh wow, weird! What a weird bug.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Which one of your friends sent you messages and notifications though, just to make it longer? Because I would be that friend, for the record.
Wait. What do you mean? If closures were bad, I'm confused. Did I say something? Did I flip?
Closing the store that you were okay with the PSP store closing because there was another way to get those games, Adam.
Right, and that's the thing. And again, I have to reemphasize
those games.
If they wanted to close the PS3 store right now, fine. But that also means that you move the content over to a new store and allow me to purchase them there and let me play them on the old hardware. Like their argument is that they don't want to support like the security and the whole storefront on the device. Fine. So give us a PS3 portal on the PS5, let me buy the games there and let them show up in my like previously downloaded or previously purchased on my PS3. They just don't want to support a whole storefront which is running old security and whatever else. That's the problem. So when you turn off the PS3 store, you can't buy PS3 games digitally anymore.
I can't. You know what we should do? We should just record this show and play it every time someone closes a store.
Right.
So I'm with you, man. I wish things would stick around forever, but Pergamene, I think they're spooked by how positively people are responding to Microsoft's strategy. Yeah. And that's how they ended up changing their minds.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if you notice, I've really stayed away from the whole, but Microsoft is doing this. I'm really trying to not compare because at the very beginning of this war, when we talked about this whole internet or this whole launch of consoles, we saw that Sony was playing the old playbook. We called it way back in like August. Sony is playing by the old launch playbook. They're playing the same playbook they played with the PS4.
It works. Why would they change it?
Why would they change it? But then Microsoft is doing this whole new thing: digital storefront. Games day one, launch for free with your service.
Games, great games, solid games. Yeah, for a long time. Didn't they drop like a MLB 21?
Yeah. So good segue there, sir,
Holy
from Sony.
Cow.
So
I was like, this is like a big sports game just out there for me to play.
If you didn't know, MLB The Show is now available on Xbox Game Pass with your Game Pass subscription. It is a PlayStation published game. Mm-hmm. So it is the first time that you've been able to play a game, and when it starts up, it says PlayStation Studios on an Xbox. It is the weirdest, wildest thing. It's cuckoo bananas. We're going to see the opposite soon with Bethesda games, when you're going to see Microsoft Studios appear on the PlayStation 5. Remember, we've talked about how the money's in the games and the software, not the hardware.
Yeah.
So Sony was like,
it's in the subscription service. It's in the eyeballs on screens, which they learned from Apple.
Here's the sad part, though, is like, if you've got Game Pass, you go download that game for free. If you've got a PS5 and want to play that game, $70, $69.99.
So thank you for subsidizing my Game Pass. Vagabond, I'm with you. Actually, no, I don't quit the Game Pass ever, but every so often I'm like, I shouldn't pay for this, and then literally a week later, there's another.
It's too much. It's too much. They throw 4 or 5 games at you a week. You know, they're just like, it's nuts. The amount of content on there is.
I made the mistake of starting up Octopath Traveler.
What
a mistake! What a mistake that was.
Yeah, because you know what? I didn't tell you about that because I know you're
8 times.
Yeah,
what have I done?
You're a fan of tactics. And it's got a lot of like that roll system in it. So yeah, the moment
my wife is hooked on it. It's very cool. I looked at the achievements and I was like, wait, there's a lot of characters I have to beat this with to get all the achievements.
Yep.
And one of the achievements is get all the other achievements, which I'm always like, no. So yeah. The competition is going to be tough this year if I try to play that game and all the other ones.
Yeah. So they're
Yakuza series. Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. Again, that was one of those series that was kind of stuck to Sony for a long time, and Capcom,
right? It's like
and Capcom was like, here you go. We threw them all out there, and what it did is it made people play those games. Like here's a niche series. The Yakuza series is big. It's big in Japan. It's not as popular here in the U.S. because it's very Japanese cultural based. Like, you know, Yakuza. I mean, like it's hard to kind of understand that kind of mindset. But then, hey, we're going to throw the entire library for free with your Game Pass. Go try them out. So now you've got all these people playing Yakuza. And
enjoy them. Maybe they'll buy number 7.
Well, I mean, let's talk about how, you know, we make fun of like influencers and all that. But honestly, Twitch numbers matter. So when they see all of these people playing this specific game on there, Yakuza this, you go on there, you type in their name on Twitch, and you see, wait a minute, there are 4,000 people playing Yakuza 0 right now. What the, you know, like this is a game that came out 4 years ago, but it's on Game Pass right now, and everyone's rediscovering it. You're making fans of a franchise.
That's that long tail, man. That's the way you keep it going. Meanwhile, Sony's closing their store, right? They don't care about their long tail at all.
Right. Like, what are you doing, man?
I keep riling you up.
You're so good at it. So good at it. Love it. So good. But it's the truth. You're absolutely right. That is nail.
Just for the 2 games on the Game Pass that I was surprised by. So there's an update on No Man's Sky. Free game has been updated multiple times. Well, I shouldn't say free. Game Pass game has been updated multiple times. So there's a new update on that makes it more social. If anyone's playing No Man's Sky, let me know. Right? Maybe I'll get back into it. and then Spiritfarer, they're dropping a new DLC, which I was surprised by. Did you see this? Spiritfarer's new DLC?
No. But I'm interested in that in smaller indie games like that are great. Especially if I like it a lot. I played enough of it that I enjoy it. So I'm hoping we get a physical release of that. Usually you get really nice art. I know, but the physical release of Spiritfarer would be nice.
Here it is. So it's a new free Lily update, right? And I won't play the whole thing, but because it's just a little tiny video. But one of the things I'm excited about is that it lets you sail your ship at night. I don't know if you played Spiritfarer, but one of the quality of life things that they've added to this update is that if you get far enough in the game, you can now sail at night, and you don't have to stop all the time at that, right? So they added a couple quality of life things, a new ghost for you to play around with. They expanded this ending story if you've beaten it, so it allows you to go back and play it again, which I'm going to do. I have one storyline that I want to finish and then beat it again. So I'm excited for this update. There's 3 updates, Pergamene, that's coming out. So this is the first of the 3 that they're dropping.
Wow. And they're just free? They're just
well, it's free updates, so I assume that's going to drop there. And then Pergamene just got zapped by the robot. Way to go, Streamlabs. That is your second victim of the night. Very nice. So that looks great. And the No Man's Sky, which I don't have the link up for, is makes it more social. little bit of social media. Oh,
If you haven't,
straight to Pokemon.
this game is just beautiful. Free update now, huh? Yeah, out now. Man, they just dropped that. They were just like, here it is.
And,
yeah.
and I don't know if folks haven't played this game. I recommend it. It was nominated last year for one of the awards for Indie Game of the Year. It's beautiful. It's pretty. The music is great. The chill vibes are perfect for when you need to de-stress, and it really presents a just a beautiful game poem about death, right? Which is an interesting. I shouldn't say interesting. Which is different from what a lot of other games are doing, right? And it's just great. It's one of those games I think that sort of underlines what games can do with the medium, right? That participation, the way you play the game, the way you act with the stories, it's just great. I mean, play it. I can't talk about how great that game is enough, right? It's just fantastic. Such great memories of beating that game during the pandemic for me.
Yeah, no, that's a yeah. I mean,
I don't usually get hyped about stuff, so I just
no.
play
It's
that game, everybody. It's so good. And the gorgeous art, gorgeous story.
So let's
break your heart.
Let's go to the other side of the coin here. We talk about games as art, and a lot of companies want to monetize games, right? And here's a company that just doesn't know what they're due with their franchise. Right? So Jeff Kaplan left Blizzard today. Major creator of head of the Overwatch project, at Blizzard, and this is a tough one, man. I really like the concept of Overwatch. Overwatch has there are many games recently that I can think back and have good memories to, only because I was at PAX when it got launched, right? I sat in line and played it. I got my pin, I talked to people that were hyped about it. And then the following year after Overwatch launched, like everyone was dressed up in like Overwatch characters. They had all the Overwatch like merch, and they had like photo booths, and there's just this like great hype about this game. And the underlying story to Overwatch kind of seemed interesting to me.
Yep.
I thought there was a lot of potential there. And then they did the esports thing, and they hyped it in a very different way than other companies did. They created this league, they had these teams, they had jerseys, they had cities represent, they filmed on location. I mean, they kind of made it a spectator sport as well.
Yeah.
And then it died. And it died because they didn't know what to do with it. I feel like Overwatch...
You don't think it died because of the pandemic?
No, I mean, it was dead before the pandemic. I mean, I think what ended up happening is they didn't know where to go with it. They were wanting to create more updates, but Blizzard was like, no, or someone in the back end, and I'm not familiar enough with the drama of the Overwatch development, but I know that they were wanting to make more updates and patches and maybe like a paid for expansion, that sort of thing. And they decided, you know what, scratch that. We're just going to go to Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
And so they announced Overwatch 2 like almost a year and a half ago. Yes, well, Fortnite kind of killed Overwatch because everyone moved over to the new hotness, right? Here's this online baby, and Fortnite came out, and everyone moved over to Fortnite, and Overwatch stopped being, it was no longer the big hotness, but you still had a lot of potential there. Then other games, other hero shooters came out, Apex Legends, and Valorant, all these other games started coming out.
Fractured the market. But you had these characters that were interesting. Like you had people creating fan fiction and like art and all of this kind of stuff. They were cosplay ready. All of the characters.
All the characters were on point. They were very well developed, like art wise, and just they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't update any of it. They didn't throw any new content. So it has been stagnant. Nothing new in the story or the gameplay has really changed in like a year and a half, even before the pandemic. And I think what happened here is from my understanding from friends that are fans of the game, What they have told me, we had a little chat about it before the show. They were telling me that Jeff was one of the big reasons why Blizzard was not monetizing Overwatch as much as they could. And Fortnite, on the other hand, while I speak its praise only because it seems to stay interesting by bringing in Marvel. They're doing a big DC crossover right now with Batman, where they're having like a 6-issue comic, event. And you've got all these characters. You've got Alloy from
so
Horizon
tired about Fortnite.
I know, but it. Look,
no, I'm with you.
What are we 2 years into the show and we're still talking about it because they're able to stay relevant. I mean, they're still able to push out new content and make things exciting. And what you've got driving, what you've got shooting, what you've meshed in the zombie mode into the.
And ask the important questions though. Can you play it on the iPhone yet?
Not anymore. And that's the dark side of it, right? Epic wants more money. They want to be able to sell things through there without paying Apple for the store. I mean, you technically can't play it on Google Play Store. You still have to sideload it.
My brother still plays Overwatch. Looks like Vagabond Dog still plays Overwatch. He hates the roll queue system, so I assume that's something a lot of folks.
Yeah, that was a thing that really splintered the thing. There has to be a certain amount of like if there's a healer, they won't let you pick another healer. They have support system, that sort of thing. So there's roles that have to be played, and that really kills it for a lot of. You can't have certain things. Weren't there designs? No, actually. There was characters on there that promoted like one of the main characters was they had a whole story arc in the comic book that said that she was gay and she had a partner and whatnot, and so this kind of thing was always very like different.
So yeah, but I mean some of the character art is objectionable, right?
Right. I mean, right. Sure.
Yeah. Sure. I'm also playing Magic the Gathering. Vagabond, you're calling us sellouts? Like what?
The Harry Potter set.
So, Magic the Gathering is a wonderful way to it's the Fortnite of board games, right? It totally has like Monopoly used to be the Fortnite of board games, but now it's sort of now you can get a Magic the Gathering set for every franchise that you like, I think, or eventually you will, right? You're going to pick up the Transformers one. You'll pick up the Transformers Magic the Gathering set, I bet you.
There's a Transformers Magic the Gathering set?
What if I told you there was? Would you go and search and see if you could buy it?
No, only because
you wouldn't want to tap a couple Energon cubes and summon Optimus Prime.
No, but you know why? You know why I wouldn't do that? Because Transformers already has its own card game.
Magic the Gathering, it'll be compatible with everyone else's.
No, don't do the see.
You can play Magic the Gathering.
No, you know what? It wouldn't. You want to know why? There are certain games. I'm susceptible to a lot of stuff, but there's some things that look really pretty from a distance, but I know the buy-in is way too deep. Yeah. It's like 40K. It's like Warhammer 40K. It's like I look at it and I go, that's sexy. Yeah. That is all sexy. All of that on the table is sexy. What's my buy-in price? Thank you. Have a good day. Walk out the store. Like, there's just no way. And
the man with 5 TVs in the background. There's a limit, though. I totally get it.
Yes, there is. It's just the buy-in is too much. I would have to spend too much to come in to the game only for me not to play it.
Yeah, no, I have a large Warhammer army under the shelves over there, one of those blue bins, very large Crimson Fist army that I don't play with anymore. Do you want to know what game got me back into miniatures gaming? I picked up the Stargrave. Stargrave's coming my way. Are you familiar with Stargrave?
Yes. You...
Yeah, I bought the book. I bought some miniatures to play with the book, and I'm just going to paint some miniatures and be sad in the corner as I don't find anyone to play with me.
So let me
I don't know. I feel like I want to build terrain and I want to fight over it for loot tokens or whatever they have.
So let's talk about this, Pedro, because I feel like you kind of give me a lot of guff for my nostalgia. But you're over here talking about how you want to build terrain and paint.
I want to build terrain. It's been too long. It's been too long.
Oh man, how much is public? Oh, so it's new. Like it comes out soon, right?
Yeah, May. It comes out.
So it looks like April 29th, right? Mm-hmm. Is the published date, $35? Science fiction war game in the ravaged galaxy. Look at that.
I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. We all have our own buttons, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
I got into retro gaming because my boss cleaned out his storage unit, gave me a GameCube and a Dreamcast.
Nice. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Joe got into retro gaming because I cleaned out my storage unit and gave him my. No, I'm kidding. That's not the origin story.
That's not my origin story, but that definitely was a giant spark to get me back into the game. It was so big. I had gotten rid of a lot of my retro consoles before we moved to Syracuse, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pedro and me connected, and then he's like, hey man, I'm getting rid of all this stuff. Do you want it? And he brought like 2 bins full of like consoles and games, and I was just like,
why would you do this to me?
Why would you do this to me? So he literally he injected me with heroin. I mean, he tied it off.
I was condoing my life, and I committed the #1 condo sin, which is to give away your stuff. You're not supposed to do that. And I totally was
but like, you didn't have condo to you didn't have a movie condo.
Joe, my favorite boy. Here's my things. Now it's your problem.
Now it's your problem, not mine. I too gave Joe my clothes. Yes, you did. You gave me a bunch of texts. I'm pretty sure I have many of your mini USB cables in my collection.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
We boomers have trains. We have minis. It's the truth. It's the truth.
So yeah, that's really I got all this space here. I should have a train setup, but it's going to be a miniature setup. That's what's.
Oh my god! By the way, I love this Pokemon Transformers Unified MTG deck 23. I love this. Lightning Graves to Pikachu and an armor for turn 3 win. Let's.
I want to play that game.
I want to play that game. Oh man!
You could have Fortnite or Super Smash, right?
Again, I Fortnite is everything I should hate. It's really everything I should hate. But my kids, it's perfect for my kid. They love it. They love like it's like bright, shiny lights and colors for little kids, and you're just like, what? Batman fighting with freaking Lara Croft? Okay, sold. Like,
I can do a stupid floss dance while beating it.
Yeah.
Oh, Vagabond, come on. There's more than enough love to go around. Vagabond, we can just.
I love this because you've made him say something that I know I've always sensed in his heart. Like he's
I stuttered over it. You understand? Right?
I know.
I'm gonna have to go take medicine.
Like, oh God, he's usually the like, oh God, but then at this moment he's like, yeah, there's enough love to go around, and there is. That's it's no different than every time a new movie gets announced, like a remake or a sequel. Everyone's like, oh, it's ruining my childhood, and I'm like, no.
Are they saying that about Mortal Kombat? Because that comes out this weekend, right?
My segue was coming.
Sorry, I jumped on your segue.
No, you totally did. You did. You got it. But no, people always say that. Like, it's ruining my childhood. But then, like, the argument is like, dude, your childhood has still existed. And if you want to relive it, go pop in Ghostbusters 1. Go pop in Ghostbusters 2. Don't blame the new movie for ruining something.
Because it's a digital download, and I bought it at the Sony store, Joe.
Ah, fair enough. I knew it, and they closed their store, so now you can't buy it. Man,
you fool! No, I mean, if Ghostbusters was your childhood sucked. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Move on. My childhood was ruined before everything was rebooted. Exactly, Adam. Beetlejuice was my childhood movie. I guess is the one I watched too much of.
So we've got yes, the new Mortal Kombat movie comes
looks
out.
Good. I'm excited for it. Are you going to watch it opening weekend? Because I know you were mad that I spoiled Godzilla versus King Kong for you. So
I wasn't mad, honestly. I haven't watched it yet, but yes, I am watching Mortal Kombat. As much as day one. That was one of those movies I saw with my dad at the movie theater, the original one. So going to
day one. I figured it'd be day one.
It's day one, and yes.
Dan, Flight of the Navigator. So does it hold up? I'm afraid to go back and watch it now.
Yes, it does. I watched it with the kids recently.
It held up? All right.
Totally holds up.
I'm afraid to watch it now and be like, oh no.
Dan, that's it's such a great movie. It's on Disney Plus. You can go watch it. What's great about that movie is
there it goes. Look at that.
We talk about sci-fi.
Holds up as well as any other 80s movie.
Yeah, we talk about sci-fi all the time and original ideas. Flight of the Navigator is a very original idea. Like, I mean, we've seen it in video games and all that, like the trope of like going to sleep and waking up like 5 years later or 10 years later, but you haven't aged anything. Like, that's been used before. But like in a sci-fi setting, going decades, because it was like he was like late 70s and he woke up in the mid 80s or whatever, and his like little brother was like older, and it was just like really good, well done. NASA project, was around. It's just good.
What a different time period.
Yeah. I mean, it was generational, right? From 70s to the 80s. If you went to sleep at the end of the 70s and woke up in 1987, like 10 years, like the amount you would have missed out, like the entire MTV generation, like all of that 80s, like.
Yeah, I mean, you could pick any decade and come to that conclusion.
Well, I mean,
but everything definitely got louder and brighter when you woke up 10 years later. Low caps yelling is very good.
Yeah, I just
The Rocketeer. So, like, which was too violent for my kids? They made me turn it off. Okay, that's good to know because that's also on my dad cord list, right? I've got a couple movies.
Neville Sinclair is a good villain. He's a good villain.
The Rocketeer was one of those underappreciated films. I thought it was great. Rio, you're right. Thanks for jumping on. Love, Death, and Robots. Volume 2 comes out May 14th.
It does.
More of adult programming for sure, but also very good.
Very good, very good. So that comes out very soon.
I'm glad they did a volume 2. That's like experimental sort of.
It was very experimental. We talked about it at the beginning of the pandemic a little bit. We talked about it on the episode.
What year is it?
What year is it? We talked about it when pretty much with the exact same conversation we're having now, where we're talking about original sci-fi that isn't like the same trope over and over. And again, Flight of the Navigator, we haven't seen. If they remade that movie now, it's hard to kind of think about it. Like, what would be the time frame that he would fall asleep in? Pre-iPhone to new iPhone, like pre-iPhone to like what's the big generational like mind-blowing moment that time gap?
I don't know that we can answer that because we're old, right? We grew up across the whole spectrum, but I think pre-iPhone to current iPhone would be wild.
Yeah, the internet, right? So like I guess it would be like
it's been around for like 30 years, fellas. Like you can't go to sleep for 10 years and miss the internet. It's around 30 years it's been around.
Yeah, I mean broadband and computers, but definitely the smartphone age, the social media age, But
that's
if we wanna put it iPhone 2008. So if you fell asleep in early aughts and woke up now, that's that's an amount of tech, like the social media, like the whole like Twitter, the
Fiberwire, the speed. Yep. I mean, go if you fall asleep waiting for your pictures to download, and you wake or your bootleg CDs to upload, music to upload, right? MPs for way back.
Or you fall asleep at the beginning of the PS3 and you realize you can't buy your content anymore. You've lost access.
I was building to that. I was hoping you'd set me up.
I just bought my PS3. What do you mean I can't buy content for it? And like, well, you were asleep for its entire lifespan. It's only been 10 years.
And a few years, the 2000s will be to now as the 70s were to that 70s show. True?
Yeah.
It's what I love most. They tried to make that 90s show and it just failed miserably. I'm like, yeah, that's about right for the 90s.
It's about right. Grunge wasn't all of that, man.
No, not that great.
Not that great. But yes, Mortal Kombat comes out. I can't even show you a clip of it because it's so violent, of course. But go check it out. They've got the first 7 minutes up on IGN. They've put up like a 7-minute first intro.
Why would I invite myself to enjoy those spoilers when I can watch the movie?
I know. No, I get it. I'd say go out to the 90s and wake up in 20. Yeah, right. Go out to 90s internet and wake up in 20. Like, that's a big jump. Like, that would be like a 30-year nap. Like, that'd be cool. That'd be like a cool concept, right?
That'd be ridiculous. You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. You're like, wait, people post pictures of themselves on the web? What? What? GeoCities to TikTok, baby.
Oh, God. Wait a minute, you're telling me people don't take nude Polaroids anymore now that you just get them instantly? What?
You guys use your real name on the internet? What? It makes no sense. We had handles. With numbers.
Mm-hmm. There was no that sort of Mandela effect.
There you go. Yeah, so you fall asleep right before Iron Man is released and you wake up at the end of Avengers.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
You fall asleep right before Iron Man and you wake up. Yeah, what's a selfie? There you go.
Yeah, that's a good concept. Like the last superhero movie you kind of were around for was like the original Spider-Man with
Ghost Rider 2. You fell asleep during Ghost Rider 2. And you're like, Marvel's never going to make a good movie. You turn it off.
Daredevil.
Oh, no. Daredevil never happened.
You fell asleep February 14th.
Daredevil's not a real movie, Joe. You're confused. There was a TV show on Netflix.
There was a TV show that's right on Netflix. It was never a movie. Yeah,
Come on.
absolutely.
Spider-Man was Electro. Y'all have like amazing references here. Kardashian, look at this. Like the Star Trek aliens.
Oh god,
that's a good joke, Dan. You're among your people.
Didn't they? Were they at war with the Romulans? Yeah, man.
Did they ever get right? Did they ever figure out the Dominion problem?
The Dominion problem never happened. All right? No. Yes. It's Cisco. Cisco fixed it all, right?
Yes, Chris. Thank you. The internet's always great for correcting mistakes. There was a brief that 80s show. Vagabond pointed out that there was no 90s show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I mean, lightning in a bottle, right? The 70s show was weird because the people that watched it didn't grow up in the 70s.
I watched it for Red Foreman, and that was it. I watched
You watched it because he reminded you of like you.
Like, this guy's my role model.
This guy's your role model. Dumbass. Oh man!
An argument can be made that The Simpsons. There was a Simpsons that 90s show, but there's an argument that The Simpsons could be that 90s show.
The Simpsons is so interesting. I've talked to a friend of mine about this. Is The Simpsons lives in that same style universe that comic books do, where like Bruce Wayne is still in his mid-30s, right? And you're like, but I've been reading Bruce Wayne since I was like 8, but he's still in his mid-30s. Like, he doesn't age, right?
Timeless,
so The Simpsons, but every so often The Simpsons has an episode where they flashback. So like recently they've got episodes of like Homer flashing back to his youth, and it's like it's the 90s. It's the 90s. It's like he's like in a grunge band, and I'm like, no, you already made references of him being in like
you can't help but be a nerd and be like, but the canon, you've ruined the
you
canon.
ruined the it's not canonical. It's non-canonical. It's totally like, come on! You had a whole episode where he gets food poisoning from the 1984 Olympic tear-offs at the Krusty Burger, but now you're gonna put him in his youth in the 90s. There was also
an episode where they invented the tomato with tobacco in it. So
right.
You gotta give him some.
I know. I just but yes, The Simpsons constantly do that where Bart is like he's still in fourth grade for the past 30 years. It started in 1989. I know. I get it. Right. But and then like Marge and Homer dated in the late 70s. So
you mean the 90s?
Right, in the 90s. That's right, in the 90s. Oh my god. That's how long they've been able to shift their childhood to the 90s. To our childhood. What the
That's good. Maybe I'll start watching again as they're going to make fun of our stuff, right?
Yeah. Problem solved. There you go, retcon.
Adam. Very nice.
Oh god. Oh man. So
what games have you beat? Have you been denying yourself any postings? Have you beat any games?
So the last game I beat was Mega Man, the original Mega Man. You know what? I had never beat original Mega Man. I didn't talk about that in that posting, but I had never beat the original Mega Man. Mega Man 2 was my gateway Mega Man. And going back to play Mega Man 1 was always hard, only because his movement's just a tiny bit different.
It's like a block. He just sort of jumps.
He's just a little. There's a lot of vertical movement in Mega Man 1. You go up a lot of stairs, so you go up and you get shot and you fall all the way back down, and it's just like brutal. And then the power up, like the health and the weapon power ups, look different in that game than they do in any other game. Like they change the icon and all. It's just a very different feeling game. So yes. He can't shoot up. He cannot shoot up.
Not diagonal. Not
diagonal. But I mean, Mega Man 2, he had a charge.
Yep.
And then Mega Man 3,
kill order and all that stuff.
So definitely kill order. Mega Man 3, they added the slide, and then Mega Man 4 onward, they tweaked little things. Like they get Mega Man 3, they gave him Rush, so he had the dog. But Mega Man 1 had none of that. So you couldn't slide, you couldn't charge up, and the power-ups were
It's
really
like in the
weird.
old coin-sucking type games where you just sort of like...
Yeah. So
restart.
playing that one for the first time was actually fun going through it. I'd never beat it. So that was the last one I played. What are you playing? And then I'll go to what I was doing, because I spent my entire weekend doing something, and I'll talk about that.
Octopath Traveler. I should not have started.
That's right. You were sucked into the Octopath.
I was like, "Well, this looks at. Oh no, what have I done?
Oh no!" You're like, you like turn it on Friday. Oh no! It's like, we have sucked 2 days from your life. How does
I
it
also
feel?
still play Empire of Sin because I want to get all the achievements, and then Outriders when I see some people on it. I've got my brother into it, but he doesn't play as often as I'd like. So I need to get
That game is the storyline was way darker than I thought it would be.
Dude, yeah. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but like,
No. If you guys haven't played Outriders, go play it. If you've got the Game Pass, go play that initial like mission. Nothing. When I got done with that, I was emotionally depressed.
It's
for a
like the
minute.
end of the Invincible episode that nobody prepared me for. I just want to make it clear. No one.
I didn't want to spoil anything.
They were like, it's written by Robert Kirkman, which tells me nothing, and then the episode ends the way it does.
Does
and I'm
it though? Does it? I mean, Robert Kirkman is the guy that wrote Rick's wife and baby getting shot and killed. Like, come on, like in a very did it? When I said Robert Kirkman, you knew what I meant.
I mean, I didn't know what I was going to get, but I got something terrifyingly.
It was terrifying.
I was unprepared for the ending of the first episode.
For anyone in chat, if you're a fan of adult writing, and you're also a fan of superheroes, and you've maybe watched the
Also
Boys,
a fan of coming of age. It's a weird amalgam of multiple genres in one.
it's a great book. Robert Kirkman wrote it. The mindset is, and again, if you haven't, I'll explain it the best way I can. It's if Superman came to Earth, and he had a child, and that child grew up, and when puberty hit, he got his powers, and so you have to think of this like teenage superhero with superpowers like Superman, but kind of like Spider-Man and that like responsibility kind of thing, only to find out by like a few issues in that your dad is actually a world conqueror.
Don't spoil it. No.
I mean, that's all you have to know. And in reality, he's not the Superman of this world. He's actually was sent to this planet to conquer the Earth.
I can't believe you spoiled it. But and it's written by Robert Kirkman, so you're not prepared. It's good. I've watched the first episode. It's going to get deeper. Yeah, isn't that super?
That's actually my wife and my new show. We've been watching it. We've been enjoying. Oh, it's so good. It's really good. If you've got kids and like superheroes and are okay with like the CW style drama, go check out Superman and Lois. It's actually really well written. And the effects are phenomenally good. Like I just can't believe that that's a CW show. Like I'm seeing Superman battles on that better than Superman Returns.
It's wild here you compare Supermans. J.K. Simmons looks exactly like Omni-Man. You're not wrong, Rayo.
Yeah, Omni-Man is phenomenal, voiced as J.K. Simmons.
There's some like really good voice actors on that show, really okay voice actors, but it gels together well. I wasn't in the right mindset for it yet. I'll come back to it when I get.
Yeah, you might have to come back to it, but yes, that the last few minutes of that first episode, just you have. Again, if you have no frame of reference when you get to
much
that,
like Outriders, where you're like, oh, this is kind of a genre, easy, tropey sci-fi, and then you get to that middle part, and you're like, wait,
what just happened? Right, and so to come back around, Outriders is very shocking like that. When you play the first mission or that first like tutorial section teaching you how to play the game, you think it's one thing, and then it's not.
Yeah, and it's good, and it's fast, and it's not a cover shooter. Stop playing it as a cover shooter, people.
Really?
I play with some randos. No, the cover's for the bad guys. This is my pro tip to everyone. The cover's
interesting.
For the bad guys.
Give us some tips because
you need to.
I'm wanting to play it like Gears.
No, you need to play it fast and moving. You got to play it like Fortnite, where you're running around and using your powers on cooldowns.
Interesting.
It is not like the cover is for the bad guy, or occasionally you'll stop, reload, gain a little bit of life, and then go against bosses. But the cover's for the bad guy.
I did notice that your character has a sponge. You can take a lot more damage than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like at the end, and it just like kept like I'm like, wait, why am I not dead yet? I should have wiped it, and then all of a sudden you recharge and use your big power.
Play it like Mass Effect Vanguard class. That's exactly right. Although I don't know that Joe has beaten all the Mass Effects, but
I know what you mean though.
Yeah, that's the next.
I know the reference. Uh, okay.
All right, there you go. Wait, no spoilers, no spoilers, Pergamene, no spoilers. I
No
don't know what.
spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. No, but yeah, I want to watch Super Nintendo, but I don't want to. Yeah, Adam, I was with you. I saw that it was on like CW's like Seed or whatever, and they haven't moved it over to HBO Max like a lot of the other CW. It's like Warner Brothers has no idea what they're doing.
We talked about this before the show, where I was talking about a game I wanted to buy, and I'm like, I don't want another, like, I don't want to give my credit card to another company. I just want it all in one place, but then I don't. So there's
like support small business. Oh, but I don't.
Business,
but I don't trust you with my card, man. Like, oh God.
For the record, I was going to order Brew, which looks like a great board game. Pergamene and I will eventually play board games together. So don't buy Brew. I'm buying it. I just need to get over the fact that I have to give another company my credit card information. You need Joe's Plex account. I got your account, baby.
Right, Dan. So that's exactly it. You play it. You're like, oh, it's this style game, and then you get to the end of the ship, and then it changed everything, and you're like, what? So yeah, drop that.
Not gonna do it, folks. Not gonna do it. And then I beat Undertale, which is another weird game that was.
Yeah. So tell us about that. How was your playing? Because you had no reference to that game before you went in to play it.
No.
And then other people have been giving you tips on how to play it now after the fact.
I got a couple of tips on how to play after the fact. I actually played it with my daughter, so she enjoyed watching me play. She enjoyed giving me tips on how, because you could beat it without actually killing any of the monsters.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
the pacifist.
The pacifist run. I killed the first 3 monsters and then realized I could play it that way, so I started playing it that way. Puzzles are fun. The storyline is weird and wonky and wacky, and it's a little uneven at times. But it's like I say, it's like one of those game designer games, right? It's one of those games that when you play it, it like really opens your mind to the game design process on what you might want to do to make people think a certain way, or act a certain way, or play a certain way.
Yeah. The developer really plays at like that. He really emphasizes the fact that like, hey, by the way, this was supposed to be like, it looks like one style game, but then even as simple as the game
plays
is,
like one style game.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what there is the worst possible ending, because I've only gotten one of them, and that's the neutral run. So there's multiple. Is it just us now? No, it's all of us, Justin. We're all on. So yeah, so it's good. Play it on the Xbox Pass. It's fun. It's a weird game. It's over in a little while, as long as you play it, just straight through. It's one of those games that, are there more secrets? It feels like there should be, but I couldn't figure out how to unravel them. So worth playing, I think, for folks who like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, this weekend I was gonna sit down and play more games, but I had someone. I had been in negotiations for a purchase for about a month now with a local. He's a member of our retro of the Dallas Retro Gaming Group, and I met him through there, and I've done a couple mods for him, and he knew I liked fight sticks and fighting games, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get rid of this. It's taking up a lot of room in my game room." And I bought it originally because I was really into fighting games, but my kids aren't. He was telling me the story that he bought it because he was like, "Oh, here's an arcade machine. Let's play arcade games." And then his kids were like, "Does it play Roblox?" And
he was, kids out. They sleep in the garage now. I get it.
Yeah, right. So it's that whole, you buy things that you think your kids would enjoy because you enjoy them, and then they're like, "Oh, Daddy likes that. That's lame. I'm gonna do the complete opposite." And so he had it, and sure enough, he offered it to me, and I was just like, sold.
Nice.
So I bought a big arcade cabinet. It's a bigger one.
Done.
And it's the very specific one that I bought it's called a Vulix style. I'm trying to pull up a decent picture of it, or a decent style picture of it. So I guess the best way I can put it is it's one like this. It's that style. It's a 32-inch screen with 2 seats in front. It's a Japanese style sit down kind of thing. And I literally spent Sunday from like the moment he dropped it off with his like buddy in a truck to like 3:00 in the morning.
Building it?
No, like playing it. Like just like Saturday. It was Saturday. He dropped it on Saturday, and I literally was playing it and said,
Daddy, we're so hungry, Daddy.
No, well, my kiddos played it all with me till
That's
the
good.
end. And will it Tekken? Yes, it will Tekken. It will Street Fighter 2. Yes, it will do all of those fighting games. What I wanted to.
Did you beat any games?
I beat fighting games, but I don't want to put those in the list because fighting games are silly. Like getting to the ending and getting to the credits.
Man, you roll the credits, you put it up there.
I don't want to count that one. Like I feel like it's a cheap win. Like if I run,
I've been looking at Injustice 2 and wondering how fast I could beat Injustice 2 for the record.
You can do it, but it's a lot of cutscenes. You're watching it for the story, so like.
I'm watching it for the credits, baby.
Well, Injustice 2. You know what, man? Have you played Injustice 1?
No, I played Injustice 2 like 3 weeks ago for the game, the Xbox points.
It will Crisis.
Come on.
It will Crisis. It will. I mean, I've got too much hardware in it. So yeah. I had been talking with him for a while, and
Dan, I'm sorry. I mean, he's right. Cheap win. You put Mario Brothers on your list.
I did, but like, I mean,
it's interesting where we draw our lines, though. You know, like
right.
I can be Empire of Sin.
So here's the turnaround on that one. Is the reason I added Mario to it was because I didn't use warps.
You beat it a different way. All right,
yeah,
so we're setting up our own rules.
I'm doing it my own rules. So like what I did is I went through every world all the way to the end and beat it. Mind you, that still doesn't take that long, but at least I completed it from start to finish. A fighting game is like technically I could drop difficulty down to easy and then just like mash a button and then roll the credits. Like it'd take me like 5 minutes to run through an arcade run of like Tekken or so like I don't want to count that. Like you roll the credits roll for every little thing on a fighting game. It doesn't take much to roll the credits on a fighting game.
Well, like Mortal Kombat, there's a lot to do in Mortal Kombat.
Well, the newer Mortal Kombats, to get the actual credits, you have to go through the entire story, and
that's what I mean. You gotta play with every single character.
Well, I mean, even if you go to YouTube and type in like Mortal Kombat cutscene story, it's like 4 hours of cutscenes. Like from start to finish, no gameplay, just playing the entire story, like playing it like a movie. It's like 4 hours of 4 hours of cutscenes plus the gameplay that in the middle, and some of those bosses get pretty hard.
That's 10 or 12 hours.
It's about 10 hours. So I mean, that's a good amount. So that one counts because it's a story, it's a campaign you're playing.
So Joe's got some rules that we don't quite understand.
Those are my own personal ones.
Yeah, my rules are if the credits show up, I'm posting it.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. And the other reason I'm allowing that one for you is because you don't play enough retro games anyway.
I don't play enough retro games.
So, I mean, you're going to play, if it's on Game Pass, if it rolls credits, like Streets of Rage 4, I mean, getting to the credits, that's a tough one. Like, it's actually not as easy as you think it is.
I should go back. They're dropping an update for that.
They are dropping an update.
Yeah, an update.
They are dropping an update. I loaded Streets of Rage 4 on this cab, and that was fun. Playing Streets of Rage on the arcade machine.
That's
awesome. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been kind of going, that's what I spent most of my day. I was like, what game would look good on an arcade? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I started loading all these fighters, and then I played Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was great.
For the record, that game is really hard.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right.
Yes, it is.
I'm like, do I suck at these games? Or
No. Scott Pilgrim, okay. You have to level up your character to get more moves to be able to play. So as you die, you kind of start. It's almost like a roguelike where you get through it enough, and then you die. You don't get enough continues, and then you come back, and then you're.
Dan's dropping jokes. You know what? Octopath would be good at a cabinet.
It would be,
especially in a seating one, because you could really.
So that's, I guess, in a turnaround. What kind of way? What I'm saying is, I have fighting games on my TV, on my couch setup, and all that, but I didn't realize how much a sit down cabinet with a full, like, the screen is the perfect distance from your face, just like playing a fighting game. It felt different. Yeah. It felt different.
Being that close to the other player as well is different, right? There's a presence feeling to it. The way that it's like how people play pinballs on video game systems, and I'm like, how is that enjoyable? Like the tactile feeling,
of banging on the side. Yeah. There's just this. There's a tactical feel. There's a nostalgia feel to it. So this cabinet has done all of that for me. So I've been playing all sorts of stuff on it, and there will be one or two games that I loaded Mortal Kombat 11. I've had the game for a long time, but I haven't played it. I want to play through the campaign.
This is the whole point of the year's resolution. So
I'm gonna play through that one on the cab for sure.
Good for you, dude. Good for you. Awesome. Well, anything else?
No, that's it. I mean, Scott Pilgrim is actually about halfway through on it, so that might be one that might roll the credits on that one.
Dude,
too.
I haven't even beat World 2 yet. Every time I log in, I'm like, this game's really hard.
The music on that first level is like in my head. That
it's fun. I just played it too many times. That second level.
Yeah, no, it's great. There are little codes and secrets and things that you can do in the first level to kind of get you going.
Oh,
You can farm for money on certain parts of the game. Like at the
what do you spend money on? I haven't even found a store yet.
So there's you go under the underpass. Like there's a spot after you pass the streets. There's like an underpass, like a bridge underpass kind of thing that you go through. There's a star on the wall. You can walk up to it, and the door will open up, and there's a store where you can purchase moves.
How do you find out this stuff? You have to go online?
They're just there. No, it's just there was a star there, so I walked up to it and I pressed it like a door, and the brick pushed in and moves over.
We're gonna have to talk one day about developers just putting shit in there that you can never find.
Well, I mean, you see a star. I'm preconditioned, right? As a retro gamer and all that, you see that like that brick is a funny color. Or that.
It's hidden in the game. If you put something in the game and no one finds it, is it even in the game?
Well,
right?
I mean, then people did find it. I you know what? At least it's not pay for DLC.
That's right. That's true. At least it's not pay for DLC.
It's all in the game.
That's true. So. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right, folks. This has been the Mid-Geek Crisis.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone coming in and chatting with us. God, man, go watch Mortal Kombat when it comes out. Let's have a chat about it. I mean, it's funny because it's a video game movie and it's a remake or it's a new entry to
Vagabond Dog.
Three times, baby.
Thanks for jumping on, Rolls. Thanks, Adam.
I like that he did it all in caps on purpose, just so you can get it.
Everyone should watch Mortal Kombat this weekend because guaranteed we'll be spoiling it next Tuesday. So episode 122.
I'm gonna try not to.
122. You were
there was fighting involved. It's gonna be
Mortal Kombat spoilers will be the name of our episode. You're gonna ruin your day.
There was combat and it was very mortal.
There was arms ripped off and get over here. At least one get over here.
What? That happened in the movie? Spoilers. I will honestly, if any of you guys want one of these mugs, I'll put it up. I'll put up a link where you can purchase a mug like this, and that would be so awesome to see someone else drinking out of one of these mugs.
Send pictures and you'll get the Plex password.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sony naked. You spoiled Invincible. I did not. That's like the premise of the damn show.
To be fair, he talked about the comics. Show's different.
It is. It is actually. There are some differences.
So that's Walking Dead. Same is different from the comics. But yeah, he did spoil it. So
I did spoil it. Love you guys. Episode 121 in the can. Oh wait. This guy enjoyed it as well.
He also does not like spoilers, for the record.
One more. Capitalism is killing us. We talked a lot about it because you know why?
Like, subscribe, share.
You want to know why it's killing us? Because he won't buy something on a store that isn't Amazon.
It's still up, okay? I'm gonna do it. I just have to go all the way upstairs to get my wallet. Type it in.
You mean you haven't fed your credit card information to the Google machine and let it hold it for you?
What about me says I would give my credit card information to? Every time it's like, would you like to save your credit card? I'm like, fuck no, Google. No, I don't want to take my credit card information. This is the thing. 10 years ago, if I fell asleep, I woke up today, I'd be like, you give your credit card information to the internet? Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Like, now I'm like, I get so mad when I don't have it saved on the storefronts. Like, I ordered pizza today for my couch, and Apple Pay, for some reason, wasn't working with the checkout. And I was just trying to check out. I was like, I'm going to have to get up and get my wallet. And then I changed form of payment, and I noticed that it saved my credit card from the last time I had to do this. I'm like, yes! Freaking order now! Yes, place the order of that pizza.
People are like, one password. I don't want to pay for this service, folks. It's
there's a few of them that are free. When the LastPass is a good one. Right-click fill. For sure. Absolutely. Those are good tips. Good tips.
But then LastPass has mine. Yes, exactly.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Episode 121 is in the can. Let's kick this off right. Where are we at? There we go. Now, take care, everyone.
Be kind.